Boy returns millionaire's wallet and makes unexpected request that makes him cry. Nathan Carter and his daughter Chloe arrived in the small town where Nathan had spent part of his childhood. It was a quiet town full of nostalgic memories for Nathan, who was now a successful businessman in the big city. For Chloe, this trip seemed like her father's attempt to reconnect with his roots, something she never really understood, considering the comfortable life they led. Chloe was 17 years old and accustomed to the luxury and conveniences that her father's wealth provided. Raised in an environment of privilege, she had a busy social life and spent much of her time in shopping malls, at parties, and traveling. Although she was an intelligent young woman, Chloe rarely had to face real challenges, and her concerns generally revolved around the latest fashion trends and the events she attended. To her, this visit to the small town felt like a step back, something far removed from the glamour she was used to. When they arrived at Nathan's parents' house, Chloe was greeted with the typical enthusiasm of grandparents. The simple, cozy house exuded the familiar aroma of freshly baked cake, something that always made Nathan smile. However, Chloe felt a bit out of place. Accustomed to the luxury and comfort of her life in the big city, she found it difficult to connect with the simplicity of her grandparents' lifestyle. During lunch, they sat around the table, and the conversation flowed naturally, full of memories and stories from Nathan's childhood. His mother, always lively, told Chloe about Nathan's childhood mischiefs, like how he used to climb the backyard trees and hide for hours, leaving everyone worried. Chloe laughed but couldn't help thinking about how different her own childhood had been. She grew up surrounded by technology, travel, and everything money could buy, but she felt that something more essential might be missing, something her grandparents seemed to have in abundance. "Chloe, you have to try your grandmother's pudding," Nathan said as dessert was served. "There's nothing like it in the world." She accepted with a smile, trying to adapt to the warm environment. The food was simple but delicious, and for the first time in a long while, Chloe found herself enjoying a meal without thinking about calories or diets. It was a comforting feeling she hadn't experienced in a while, a welcome break from her hectic routine. After lunch, Nathan suggested they take a walk through the local park, a place that held great significance for him. Chloe agreed, although she would have preferred to be somewhere more exciting. But she knew how much these moments meant to her father, so she decided to accompany him with a smile, even though her heart was elsewhere. As they walked through the park, Nathan pointed out places that were part of his memories. "That giant tree over there, Chloe, my friends and I used to climb to the top. It was our secret hideout," he said with a sparkle in his eyes. Chloe smiled and asked a few questions to show interest, but her mind continued to wander. She frequently checked her phone, waiting for messages from her friends, who were busy planning the next party in the city. The park, with its old trees and dirt paths, seemed so distant from the world she knew. They stopped at an ice cream cart, and Nathan insisted on buying one for Chloe. "A day of indulgence won't hurt anyone," he said with a mischievous smile, handing her the vanilla ice cream she liked. Nathan pulled out his wallet to pay, but as he put it back, he accidentally dropped it without noticing. They continued walking, unaware that the wallet had been left behind. "Dad, what if we spent the whole weekend here? We could go fishing tomorrow like you used to with Grandpa," Chloe suggested, trying to engage more in the conversation and please him. "Great idea! It would be wonderful to relive those memories with you," Nathan replied, pleased with his daughter's attempt to connect. As they walked away, Nathan's wallet lay forgotten on the path. The park continued its usual activity, with children running, dogs playing, and parents watching from a distance, without anyone noticing the fallen object. Lucas was at the park with his friend Jimmy, as he often was on afternoons when there was nothing to do at home. The two walked through the park, chatting about trivial things when Lucas noticed something falling out of the pocket of a man walking by with a girl. It was a wallet. Lucas, always observant, quickly realized that the man hadn't noticed he had lost something. "Hey, Jimmy, look at that," Lucas said, discreetly pointing to the fallen wallet. Jimmy's eyes widened when he saw the object on the ground. "Wow, Lucas, that's some luck. Let's grab it." The two boys approached the wallet, making sure no one was paying attention to them. Lucas picked it up from the ground and opened it to see if he could identify the owner. Inside, he saw the wallet was full of money and credit cards. In one of the compartments, he found a business card with the name Nathan Carter and a company logo. "This guy must be really rich," Jimmy murmured, clearly excited. "With all this money, we could do so much, Lucas. Let's take the money and get out of here before he notices." However, Lucas hesitated. He knew the right thing to do was to return the wallet, especially after seeing a picture of a girl who seemed to be Nathan's daughter in one of the cards. His mother's words about honesty began to echo in his mind, reminding him how she always said that doing the right thing was the most important, even when no one was watching. "No, Jimmy," Lucas said firmly. "I can't do that. This money isn't ours, and this guy is going to need his wallet. We have to return it." Jimmy rolled his eyes, frustrated. "Oh, come on, Lucas. No one's going to know. We just take the money and throw the wallet away somewhere. We just have to get rid of it quickly." But Lucas was determined. "My mom taught me never to take what isn't mine. It doesn't matter how much we need it, it's not right. I'm going to return the wallet." Jimmy huffed, visibly irritated by Lucas's decision. "You're such an idiot, Lucas. Always wanting to be the good guy. Fine, do whatever you want, but I'm not sticking around to watch you throw this chance away." With that, Jimmy turned his back and walked away, leaving Lucas alone with the wallet. Lucas looked at the man and the girl walking away and took a deep breath. He knew that returning the wallet was the right thing to do, but he also knew that it meant losing the chance to get the money he so desperately needed to help his family. Even so, Lucas decided to follow his heart. He stood up, put the wallet in his pocket, and began to follow Nathan and Chloe through the park, waiting for the right moment to return it. It wouldn't be easy, but he knew he was doing the right thing. Nathan and Chloe were walking through the park, enjoying the scenery when Nathan reached into his pocket to get something and realized his wallet was missing. He stopped abruptly, his expression becoming serious as he searched his other pockets, only to confirm what he already feared: the wallet was gone. "Chloe, I think I lost my wallet," Nathan said, trying to stay calm but with a note of concern in his voice. Chloe, who had been distracted by her phone, looked at her father with wide eyes. "What? How did you lose your wallet? There was a lot of money in there." "Yes, and all my cards too," Nathan replied, trying to think of where he might have dropped it. "We must have passed by it somewhere. Let's retrace our steps." As Nathan and Chloe started to walk back along the path they had taken, Chloe couldn't hide her anxiety. What if someone's already taken it? "Dad, this is a nightmare. Someone could have stolen everything." Let's think positively, Chloe. Maybe someone honest found it, Nathan said, though he himself was beginning to doubt that possibility. Meanwhile, Lucas, who had been following Nathan and Chloe from a safe distance, realized they were looking for something. He knew this was the right moment. Taking a deep breath, he approached them, catching Nathan's attention with a timid voice. "Sir, excuse me," Lucas said, extending his hand with the wallet. "I think you lost this." Nathan stopped and looked at the boy, surprised. "My wallet!" "You found it?" he asked, taking it back and quickly checking its contents. Everything was exactly as he had left it. "Yes, sir. I saw it fall out of your pocket and, well, I thought I should return it," Lucas said, trying not to show the nervousness he felt. Nathan smiled, relieved and impressed. "Thank you very much, young man. That was very honest of you. I'd like to reward you for that." Lucas shook his head, hesitant. "You don't need to give me anything, sir. If you could give me a few dollars, just enough to buy my sister's medicine. She's sick, and my mom doesn't have the money to buy it." Nathan was silent for a moment, observing the boy more closely. Lucas was thin, his clothes were simple and worn, and there was a seriousness in his eyes that made Nathan realize this request wasn't a whim. Chloe, standing beside him, was touched by Lucas's words and realized how different the boy's life was compared to her own. "What's your name?" Nathan asked in a softer voice. "Lucas, sir," the boy replied, lowering his eyes for a moment, feeling a little uncomfortable with the attention. "Lucas, why don't you tell me a bit more about yourself and your family?" Nathan asked, sensing there was more to the story. Lucas hesitated but decided to trust a man who seemed so kind. He began to talk about his life, how he helped his mother take care of the house and his sister, how he did small jobs to help with expenses, and how difficult it was to see his sister sick and not be able to do much for her. As Lucas spoke, Nathan and Chloe listened attentively, realizing the depth of responsibility the boy carried on his shoulders. Chloe, who until then had been worried about trivial things, began to feel a growing admiration for Lucas. His life was so different from hers, yet he showed a strength and maturity that made her rethink her own concerns. When Lucas finished telling his story, Nathan felt a weight in his chest. He knew he had to do something to help the boy and his family, but he wasn't sure exactly how. He looked at Chloe, who nodded slightly as if supporting whatever decision he made. As the three of them walked to a nearby bench to continue the conversation, Nathan looked at Lucas with kindness, wanting to understand more about the life of this boy who, despite being so young, seemed to carry an immense weight on his shoulders. "Lucas, how do you manage to help your mom? What do you do to earn money?" Nathan asked, trying not to sound invasive but clearly interested in learning more about the boy's situation. Lucas, still a bit hesitant, answered sincerely. "I do what I can, sir. I collect cans for recycling, help neighbors with small jobs, and sometimes deliver newspapers. It's not much, but I try to help my mom however I can." Nathan nodded, realizing that Lucas did more than many adults would in a similar situation. He noticed the seriousness in the boy's eyes, a maturity that shouldn't be present in someone so young. "And your mother, Lucas? Does she work?" he asked, hoping to understand the family dynamics better. Lucas sighed, looking at the ground as he answered. "My mom used to work at a restaurant as a waitress, but she was let go a few months ago." She's been doing odd jobs when she can, but it's not enough. I try to help as much as I can, but it's hard. Chloe, who was beside Nathan, listened intently, but something bothered her. "Lucas, do you go to school?" she asked, trying to understand how he balanced everything with school. Lucas smiled slightly and nodded. "Yes, I go to school. I go every morning and then try to help my mom with whatever I can." Chloe was impressed by Lucas's dedication. She knew her own life was much easier, with all the opportunities her father could provide, and she could hardly imagine what it would be like to carry so much weight at such a young age. "You seem very smart, Lucas. It must be hard to study and work at the same time." "It's a bit hard, yes," Lucas replied, not wanting to sound dramatic. "But I know that if I study hard, I can get a good job in the future and really help my mom and sister." Nathan was silent for a moment, absorbing everything he had heard. He couldn't imagine how difficult it must be for Lucas to carry this responsibility and felt enormous empathy for him. "Lucas, you're an incredible boy. I'd like to meet your mother and your sister. I think I can help you in a more meaningful way," Nathan said, his voice full of compassion. Lucas looked at Nathan with a mixture of surprise and hope. "You want to meet my mom?" he asked, a little incredulous. "Yes, Lucas. If you allow me, I'd like to help your family. Can I visit your home?" Nathan asked with a reassuring smile. Lucas hesitated for a moment, but Nathan's sincerity made him decide to trust him. "All right, sir. I can take you there," Lucas said, feeling a strange mix of relief and apprehension. As they stood up to go, Chloe placed her hand on Lucas's shoulder, a gesture of solidarity that said more than words could express. She knew this experience was changing the way she saw the world, and she was ready to help in any way she could. They began walking together, with Lucas leading the way to his home, where Nathan and Chloe would meet Sarah and Emma and learn more about the struggles faced by this family, who, despite everything, maintained hope and dignity. Lucas led Nathan and Chloe through the neighborhood streets to his home. As they approached, Nathan observed the surroundings, noticing the modest houses and simple streets. It was a stark contrast to the lifestyle he and Chloe were accustomed to, which only increased his determination to help this family. When they arrived at Lucas's home, a small wooden house with worn paint, Nathan could see that despite the difficulties, the house was well cared for. Lucas opened the gate, and the three of them entered. Sarah, Lucas's mother, was in the living room, worried about her son's delay. When she saw Nathan and Chloe, she frowned, unsure of what was happening. "Mom, this is Mr. Nathan and his daughter Chloe," Lucas said, introducing them. "They wanted to meet you and Emma." Sarah, surprised and a bit suspicious, extended her hand to greet them. "Nice to meet you." "Lucas, what happened? Is everything okay?" Noticing her apprehension, Nathan stepped forward and smiled warmly. "Everything's fine. I'm Nathan, and this is my daughter Chloe. Lucas found my wallet in the park and returned it. He did something very honest, and I wanted to meet you to thank you personally." Sarah, still surprised, extended her hand to greet them. "Nice to meet you. I appreciate you coming here." Nathan continued, still smiling. "I wanted to meet your family and see how I can help. Lucas told me a bit about you, and I think we can do something more meaningful." Sarah was moved by Nathan's words. She looked at Lucas, proud of her son, and then turned to Nathan. "I'm very grateful for this. The truth is, it's been tough for us, but I never expected someone to help us like this." At that moment, a small girl entered the room, holding a doll in one hand. She looked at the strangers with curiosity. "This is Emma," Lucas said, introducing his sister. "Emma, this is Mr. Nathan and Chloe." Chloe, who had been a bit reserved until then, crouched down to Emma's level and smiled. "Hi, Emma. What a beautiful doll you have." Emma, initially shy, smiled back at Chloe, feeling a little more at ease. "Thank you. Mommy made her clothes." Chloe was impressed by Emma's simplicity and sweetness. Meanwhile, Nathan and Sarah began to talk more deeply about the difficulties the family was facing. Sarah explained to Nathan how losing her job at the restaurant had made everything more complicated. She explained how she tried to do odd jobs to support her children, but that the money was never enough to pay the bills and for Emma's medicine. Sarah was visibly emotional as she told the story, and Nathan felt even more compelled to help. "Sarah, I have a friend who owns a business in town," Nathan said after listening attentively. "I believe he might be able to offer you a job. If you're interested, of course." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. She didn't know what to say. I don't know how to thank you. This would be a blessing for us." Nathan smiled. "There's no need to thank me. Lucas did the right thing, and I'm just trying to do the same. Plus, Chloe and I want to help Emma with whatever she needs, whether it's medicine or anything else." Chloe, who was playing with Emma, looked at her father and nodded, agreeing with everything he said. "We're here to help," Chloe added, feeling that it was the right thing to do. Sarah, emotional, thanked them again, unable to find the words to express her gratitude. The honesty she had taught Lucas was bearing fruit in a way she never imagined. As they said their goodbyes, Nathan promised that he would return soon with more news about the job and that he would do everything possible to help the family improve their lives. Before leaving, Chloe hugged Emma, who smiled, already feeling closer to her new friend. As they walked away from the house, Nathan and Chloe walked in silence for a moment, both reflecting on the meeting. Chloe, especially, was absorbing everything that had happened, feeling that the experience had changed something inside her. "Dad," Chloe said, breaking the silence, "I can't stop thinking about how difficult their lives are. I want to help more. I want to do something that really makes a difference." Nathan smiled, proud of his daughter. "We will, Chloe. We'll make sure this family has a better life. That's a promise." Nathan knew that he and Chloe would need to return home soon, but not before ensuring that Lucas's family's life was on the right track. He decided that he wanted to help in a more meaningful way so that even from a distance, they could feel the positive impact of their actions. Nathan started by calling an old friend, John Anderson, who ran a business in the town where Lucas and his family lived. John was someone Nathan trusted, and he knew that Sarah could greatly benefit from a stable job opportunity. "John, I need a favor," Nathan began after the initial greetings. "I met a family that's going through hard times, and the mother, Sarah, is an extremely hardworking woman who recently lost her job. Could you consider her for a position at your company?" John, always willing to help, responded promptly, "Of course, Nathan. If you trust her, I'm willing to give her a chance. Let's schedule an interview to see how she fits in." Nathan felt a great relief after hanging up the phone, knowing that he was about to give Sarah an opportunity to transform her life. The next day, he returned to Lucas's house to share the good news. Sarah was deeply moved when she heard about the opportunity. "I don't even know how to thank you, Nathan," she said, tears filling her eyes. "This is a miracle for us." "You don't need to thank me, Sarah," Nathan replied with a smile. "Lucas did the right thing by returning my wallet, and this is just the result of the honesty you taught him." Meanwhile, Chloe was building a solid friendship with Lucas and Emma. She began spending more time with them, helping with schoolwork and playing with Emma. Chloe began to realize how small her own difficulties were compared to what this family faced daily. On the day of the interview, Nathan accompanied Sarah to John's company. Sarah was nervous, but Nathan encouraged her. "You'll do great, Sarah. Just be yourself." The interview was a success. John was impressed by Sarah's experience and determination, offering her a job immediately. Sarah could hardly believe her luck. "Thank you, Mr. Anderson. I'll do my best," she promised, still emotional. With Sarah's life starting to stabilize, Nathan and Chloe continued to support Lucas's family in other ways. They helped with repairs to Lucas's house and ensured that Emma received all the medical care she needed. Although he knew they couldn't stay forever, Nathan wanted to make sure that when they left, the family would be in a much better situation than when they first met them. Before saying goodbye, Nathan had one last conversation with Chloe as they walked together in the park. "Dad," Chloe began, reflecting on everything they had experienced in recent days, "I never imagined that something as simple as returning a wallet could change a family's life so much. But now I see that small actions can really make a big difference." Nathan looked at his daughter with pride. "You've learned a valuable lesson, Chloe. Sometimes it's the small actions that have the greatest impacts. Honesty, empathy, and the willingness to help others are what really matter in life." Chloe smiled, feeling that she had changed profoundly during this journey. "I want to keep helping, Dad. Not just Lucas and his family, but other people too. I want to make a difference." "And you will, Chloe." "You've already started," Nathan replied, placing a hand on her shoulder. As they returned home, both knew that even though they had to leave the town, the impact of their actions would remain. They left with the certainty that they had made a difference in the life of a family and that this story of honesty and kindness would continue to inspire. A few weeks after Nathan and Chloe's visit, Lucas was walking through the park where it all began, enjoying a rare moment of tranquility. The sun shone softly, and the sound of children playing on the playground filled the air with contagious joy. As Lucas walked, he spotted a familiar figure in the distance. It was Jimmy, the friend who had been with him the day he found Nathan's wallet. Jimmy was sitting on a bench, looking thoughtful, and didn't notice Lucas approaching until he called his name. "Jimmy!" Lucas waved, approaching his friend. Jimmy looked up, surprised to see Lucas. "Hey, Lucas! Long time, man. How are you?" Lucas smiled, sitting down next to Jimmy. "I'm good. How about you?" "Oh, I'm getting by," Jimmy replied, shrugging. "But what about you? It seems like your life turned around, huh? I heard your mom got a new job and things are getting better. Is that true?" Lucas nodded. "It's true, Jimmy. A lot has changed since that day in the park." Jimmy shook his head, still in disbelief. "Man, I can't believe it. You really returned that wallet, and look what happened. I thought you were crazy for doing that, but I guess I was wrong." Lucas looked at his friend, seeing the conflict in his eyes. "Jimmy, I did what I thought was right. My mom always taught me that honesty is the best policy. I didn't know things would change like this, but the important thing is that I did the right thing." Jimmy sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "I know, it's just that at the time, it seemed like an opportunity we'd never have again, you know? But now, seeing what happened to you, maybe I need to rethink some things." Lucas smiled, pleased to see that Jimmy was reflecting on the situation. "I think that's it, Jimmy. It doesn't matter if things seem tough, what matters is that we do the right thing. It may not be easy, but in the end, you'll feel good for being honest." Jimmy was silent for a moment, absorbing Lucas's words. "You're different, Lucas. I always knew you were a good guy, but now I see you're much more than that. I guess I've never been very good at thinking before acting. Maybe I should start changing that." Lucas patted Jimmy on the back, encouraging him. "It's never too late to change, Jimmy. The important thing is that you want to do it. And who knows? Maybe one day you'll do something that changes your life and others too." Jimmy looked at Lucas, a new respect shining in his eyes. "Thanks, Lucas. I think you're right. I'll try to be more like you, man." The two friends stayed there for a while longer, talking about life and the changes that had happened. Lucas felt that at that moment, he was passing on the same values his mother had taught him. He knew that honesty and integrity weren't just empty words but principles that could transform lives. As they talked, Jimmy asked, "So what else has changed in your life since then?" Lucas smiled and began to talk about the new opportunities that had come his way. He spoke about how Nathan and Chloe had helped him, how his mother was happy with her new job, and how Emma was finally receiving the treatment she needed. Every word seemed to reinforce the idea that doing the right thing brought rewards that went far beyond what anyone could imagine. "That's amazing, Lucas," Jimmy said, a sparkle in his eyes. "I never would have thought something like this could happen to someone like us." "Neither did I," Lucas admitted. "But it's like my mom always said, when you do the right thing, good things happen. Maybe not in the way you expect, but they happen." Jimmy nodded, feeling a new determination grow inside him. "You know, Lucas, I think I'll try to follow your example from now on. Who knows what might happen, right?" "Exactly," Lucas agreed, feeling proud of the impact he was having on his friend. "Life can be tough, but if we do the right thing, it can be a little easier." The two friends stood up from the bench, ready to continue with their day, but with a new perspective on what really mattered. For Lucas, this reunion with Jimmy was more than just a casual conversation. It was confirmation that he was on the right path, not only changing his own life but also influencing those around him. As they walked together out of the park, Lucas couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. He knew that with or without the help of Nathan and Chloe, he had made a difference in Jimmy's life, and that filled him with pride and hope for the future. Months passed since Nathan and Chloe helped Lucas and his family. The family's life had changed significantly. Sarah had settled into her new job and quickly stood out, showing her skills and dedication. With a stable income, she was able to better organize the household finances, providing more comfort and security for her children. Emma, who had been weakened by health problems, was now stronger and healthier thanks to the medicines and medical care that Nathan had provided. Her recovery brought new energy to the house, and she began attending school regularly, always with a smile on her face. Lucas, for his part, flourished. With fewer financial responsibilities on his shoulders, he was able to focus more on his studies. His confidence grew, and he began to dream of a better future, knowing he had the support of his mother and the friends he made along the way. He also kept in touch with Chloe, exchanging letters and emails regularly, where they shared their experiences and lessons learned. For Nathan and Chloe, the memory of Lucas and his family remained alive in their hearts. They knew that although they had returned to their own city, the impact they had on the lives of those they helped continued to expand. Chloe, inspired by the experience, became more involved in social activities, participating in initiatives at her school to help children in difficult situations. Nathan, for his part, felt deep satisfaction in knowing that a simple trip had turned into an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others. He continued to teach Chloe the values he held most dear: honesty, empathy, and the importance of always being willing to help others. One evening, as they were getting ready for bed, Chloe asked her father, "Do you think Lucas will continue to grow and achieve his dreams?" Nathan smiled, holding his daughter's hand. "I believe he will, Chloe. He has the strength and determination to do it. And he'll always have our support, even from afar." As the lights went out, both knew that the seeds of kindness they had planted in Lucas and his family's life would continue to grow, blossoming into a future full of promises and opportunities. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and check out our next story.